Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we'll discuss about some of the question that been asked in IIT JEE or JEE Advanced back in the years related with differential calculus. In last couple of videos we discussed why we do differentiate and what is differentiation, right? From first principle, what is differentiation and what does it mean? We've derived the formula using the first principle that how we break it down to the such a narrow point that it is just between x plus h and h tends to 0, and how we can differentiate between these 2 points on x-axis and um, find out the formula so that we can note it down and directly differentiate and find out what is the rate at which this y is changing with respect to x. And we've solved a couple of problems, how the water is flowing, what's the rate of flowing water on, and couple of other problems. Now today we'll discuss some of the theorems related in this topic and solve the problems that has been asked in IIT. So let's do it. You've heard about this Rolle's mean theorem, which is very famous in IIT syllabus, right? So what is that? It's name is big, but it's very fundamental concept. Let's say if you have any function which is like this, or it could be like this one, you know. So if you can identify 2 points, let's say A and B, you know, and if they have a same value, right? You can see in the diagram, then there must be a point called C, not necessarily in the middle, but between interval A to B, and this A and B should be continuous and differentiable. Why I have used the open bracket here in the differentiability case? Because for continuity it should have the value at A and B. For differentiability, we can't assume that it would be differentiable at A because it could have a different slope at A and B. So that's why we used open bracket. If these conditions are met, then this there would be a C point. There the slope must be 0. This could be this way, or there could be this point between A and C. There would be a downward sloping. Anyway, they'll have some local maximum, local minima, or global maximum, global minima, anything. But there would be must be a point uh, called C. So f prime C. Oh God, f prime C. That would be 0. So slope would be 0 in between. That's called Rolle theorem. You don't have to mug up anything. This is basic common sense that if function is like this and they are continuous and differentiable between two interval, and those two intervals, if they are at same level, there must be a point where slope would be 0, because there would be point where you need to change the slope, and that the point that where you change the slope have no slope. So there the f prime of that function would be 0. So slope would be 0. There's a similar concept in Lagrange's mean theorem. What Lagrange says is nothing, that it's not necessary that we have some function. Let's say if you find A and let's have better representation. Let's say you find a point B here and A here. What if they don't, if they are not equal then? So you just extended the formula that he said, even if we have such case that fa does not equal to fb, but this condition should meet, huh? A b continuous and differentiable between a b, then he said there also there would be a point c where you can simply find out his slope by using simple geometry formula that this would be fb, and this would be fa. So fb minus fa upon b minus a. I'll write it like f prime c, there would be a c point जहाँ पे slope क्या होगा is equal to the geometry that it follows. So this point A, this point B. So simply we could write FB minus FA and B minus A. So that's become the Lagrange's mean theorem. Only difference is that if A and B are FA, FB are not equal. तो चलिए इसका we'll use these theorems and solve some of the JEE Advanced problem I've read on earlier. So let's solve it. I'll use the different color for this. Okay. So here is the problem. It came in the JEE Advanced. I don't know, remember this year. I've copied from internet. Okay. So now find out the distinct real roots. Now this is a quadratic polynomial function. Not quadratic, sorry. This is four root problem. Um, quadruple, whatever they say. Now it must have a four root, right? That's for sure. But we need to find the real roots. That too distinct. For finding out that, so four rule, some rule could be like, let's say one real root, three complex root, or three, one, or zero, three, three, zero, or four, zero, and zero, four. These could be combinations, but we need to find what is the pattern. So we could see that this function, if we put 0, x 0, so if we put x 0, then it function have a value of minus 1. And if we increase that function, this is polynomial, so this will go to infinity, plus infinity, minus infinity. If we take the infinity, if we put x is equal to infinity, this will function will be infinity. So somewhere, let's say infinity here. So this function have 0 at 1 and like this. So anyhow, it will cut x-axis at some point for sure. Let's say this point is C or A. So this will cut this point. So this, uh, I mean, it can cut multiple times, but at least for sure this will cut at one time. So for sure there would be one real root. So there is not possibility that it will have zero real roots. So this option is cancelled out. Mm, and then we know that if fx is of some function n, the f prime x would be x n minus 1 and n. So the root would reduce by minus 1, and f double prime would be, again, it will go into n minus 2 order. So that way we can say, and, and if it is differentiable, this is, that means they are all real roots. So if we differentiate this function, this will come f prime x will come 3x cube minus 8x square plus 24x plus 1. And if we again differentiate it, f double prime x, this will come 9x square minus 64x square plus 24. So you see now, sorry, this will be x. So now here also, if we take the common of, if we take the common 3, it will come 3x square minus, this is 16, sorry. So we can't take the common 3. Still, if we find the b square minus 4ac, the, you know, finding out the real roots for, real and distinctive roots for quadratic. So we'll see 64, and this will come much greater, and this will come negative. So that means uh, it has zero real roots. So f prime x has zero real roots because this is coming negative. So that means have imaginary roots. So no real roots. So if this has zero real roots, this at least will have one real root, right? That's why it's being zero real root. So it should have one real root. And if f prime x have one real root, then fx would have at least two real roots, right? So that means this has this condition, this 2 and 2. So this has two real roots and two imaginary roots. So the answer is two real roots. Okay, let's solve another problem. So given that a plus b plus c is equal to 0, show that this function has at least one root in 0, 0 to 1 interval. So now when we get at least one root or this interval thing, we should think in terms of Rolle's theorem or Lagrange's theorem, depending on the condition fa is equal to fb. So to check if fa, so it's saying is had at least one root in 0 comma 1 interval. Okay, so that means this is nothing but f prime c. Will not c, it could be capital C. Any interval point 0, so f a is equal to fb from this Rolle's theorem. Since let's check this f prime c. F prime c is f prime x. Let's say this is 3ax square plus 2bx plus c is 0. So we'll get the fx by integrating this function. So we'll integrate it with respect to dx. It will come ax square plus uh, 2bx. No, so it will come bx, sorry, ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus some constant, let's say d is equal to 0. So this has been function. And let's check the value at f is equal to 0. So f is equal to, if we put 0, it will come d. And if we'll put f is equal to 1, it will again come d. So that means f0 is f1. So now it's a polynomial, so it must be differentiable at 0 and 1 and at continuous also. So that means we can apply the Rolle's theorem here, that there must be a C point where it will be 0. So for sure we can put that at least there would be one root that can satisfy, let's say alpha is that root that can satisfy this equation, right? So here we can solve this question. This is true question. I this is also JEE question, maybe true and false type of question. So this is true. Let's solve this question. So it is saying if fx is twice differentiable and FLL, right? Clearly, if a has 0, if b is 2, if c is minus 1, if d is 2, and if e is 0. And a, b, c, d is like that, they are. So assume that this function, we can see fe 0, fa 0. So we found that at interval a and e, this fx function, if differentiable and continuous between this range, we can say fa is equal to fe. That means there must be a point c between, not c, I'll not write exactly c, but let's say point p, where f prime p would be 0 through Rolle's theorem. But we'll use this result. Let's see what exactly question have asked. So it says that there then minimum number of zeros of gx function, which is like this in interval a to e. Okay, so in the same interval it is asking how many zeros of gx. Zeros of gx means how many roots of gx is interval में. ओके, सो एफ एक्स के बारे में तो वी कैन से कि देयर मस्ट बी वन रूट, एटलीस्ट वन रूट थ्रू रोल्स थ्योरम। सो अभी एफ एक्स का वन रूट है तो जी एक्स का कितना होगा वही हमें फाइंड आउट करना है। सो लेट्स फाइंड आउट दिस एफ एक्स फंक्शन वी हैव मेड एफ ए इज इक्वल टू जीरो। तो कहीं पे तो ये जीरो है, लेट्स से विल कंसीडर all positive, that a b c d e are positive. Let's take for example a is 0, this is a. B is 2, so b is 2, right? C again is minus 1, so we'll put minus 1 here, so C is here. D again 2, see, and then these 2 point also, so interval B और D में भी एक 0 का रूट आएगा through B Rolle's theorem. We can say f अगर f b and fd are equal, then there must be a, let's say, m point where the root. तो two roots तो हमें यहाँ से मिल गया रोल्स थ्योरम से fx फंक्शन का, एटलीस्ट टू, और e का बोला है फिर से जीरो। सो अगर हम ये ग्राफ बनाएं, अभी ग्राफ में ऐसे क्यों बना रहा हूँ, मतलब पॉइंटेड भी बना सकता हूँ, बट वाई आई एम स्मूथिंग इट बिकॉज इट सेज ट्वाइस डिफरेंशिएबल फंक्शन, दैट मीन्स कि एक्स स्क्वायर के रेंज में है, राइट, एक्स स्क्वायर के रेंज में हो सकता है। सो दैट मीन्स वो पैराबोला आएगा और वो कर्व में आएगा, तो स्मूथ कर रहा हूँ। ओके, सो वी कैन सी एटलीस्ट 2-3 पॉइंट्स आर वी आर फाइंडिंग, बट एटलीस्ट 2 पॉइंट्स थ्रू रोल थ्योरम वी कैन फाइंड। देयर कुड बी लाइक, यहाँ पे ऐसे जरूरी नहीं कि एक ही बार में आया हो, दो तीन और लोकल मिनिमा मैक्सिमम हो सकते हैं, राइट, यहाँ भी हो सकता है, बट एटलीस्ट थ्रू रोल थ्योरम वी कैन से टू, तो हमें 2 पॉइंट्स तो हमें मिल रहे हैं। ओके, ना एफ के बारे में तो हमें इन्फॉर्मेशन मिल गई, बट हमें फाइंड आउट करना है जी एक्स। तो लेट्स से जी एक्स है क्या। तो जी एक्स, इट हैज मेंशनड एफ प्राइम एक्स का होल स्क्वायर प्लस एफ डबल प्राइम एक्स एंड एफ एक्स, राइट, या। सो इसको थोड़ा सिंप्लीफाई कर लेते हैं, इसको थोड़ा सा सिंप्लीफाई कर लेते हैं, इसको लिख सकते हैं हम एफ प्राइम एक्स, एफ प्राइम का स्क्वायर मतलब एफ प्राइम इंटू एफ प्राइम प्लस एफ डबल प्राइम डॉट एफ। मैंने इसको ऐसे क्यों लिखा, आप देखो अगर इसको ध्यान से, तो इट्स लाइक ना कि ए है, फिर उसका डिफरेंशिएशन है डी ए प्लस, फिर ए का डिफरेंशिएशन है डी ए, फिर ए है। अच्छा, यहाँ पे दो डी ए है ना, तो तो हाँ ओके, तो हम अगर एक फंक्शन एफ ले लें और एक एफ प्राइम ले लें, तो एफ, तो इट्स काइंड ऑफ लाइक ए इंटू डी, डी बी प्लस बी इंटू डी ए टाइप का फंक्शन लग रहा है। तो दैट मीन्स हम इसको लिख सकते हैं डी ऑफ एक्स एफ प्राइम इंटू एफ ना, ए इंटू बी का जैसे डिफरेंशिएशन का फॉर्मूला होता है। तो जी एक्स इज नथिंग बट, इसको हम एक फंक्शन अगर मान लें तो डी एक्स ऑफ एक्स, एच ऑफ एक्स इज नथिंग बट एफ प्राइम ऑफ एक्स इंटू एफ ऑफ एक्स। तो जो जी एक्स का रूट है हमें पता करना है, अगर एच एक्स का फाइंड आउट हो जाए हमें रूट, तो जी एक्स क्या होगा, उससे एक ज़्यादा होगा बिकॉज इसका डिफरेंशिएशन है जी एक्स, सॉरी, एक कम होगा। अगर एक्स का एन रूट है तो उसका एन माइनस वन होगा क्योंकि इसका डिफरेंशिएशन है। सो वीव सीन कि एफ एक्स के एटलीस्ट टू रूट्स तो हमें यहाँ से मिल रहे हैं, राइट, एंड ऑल्सो वी कुड सी कि यहाँ पे इंटरवल मीन प्रॉपर्टी थ्योरम की वजह से यहाँ पे देयर मस्ट बी अ जीरो बिकॉज इट विल क्रॉस। तो अगेन ई के साथ एक और पॉइंट मिल सकता है, इसको एम मान लो या के मान लो, यहाँ भी ए और एल में एक पॉइंट मिल सकता है, राइट। तो एटलीस्ट थ्री तो यहाँ से मिल गए अपने को, एटलीस्ट थ्री, बहुत सारे हो सकते हैं, मैं एटलीस्ट थ्री की बात कर रहा हूँ। तो एफ एक्स का एटलीस्ट थ्री होगा, राइट। आई होप आई हैव मेड इट क्लियर। सॉरी, एफ एफ प्राइम एक्स तो थ्री होंगे, और एफ एक्स कितनी बार जीरो हो रहा है, एक बार इधर, एक बार इधर, दो, तीन और चार, राइट। तो चार बार तो ये हो रहा है एटलीस्ट, और तीन, सॉरी, तीन बार ये हो रहा है अलग अलग जगह पे। तो टोटल एच एक्स को जो है सात, एटलीस्ट मिनिमम, मिनिमम सात रूट मिलेंगे। तो इसको जी एक्स को कितने रूट मिल जाएंगे, छः। ओके, thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you want to, you want me to solve any other J advanced problems.